Hello, my name is Tiffany Chang, and this is Conductor as CEO, where I share some of my ideas about leadership. I imagine a world where conductors make artistic organizations great, like CEOs make businesses great. First, by being of service to its people. In the last post, I shared the evolution of Zappos' vision. Their focus shifted naturally from the largest selection of shoes to delivering happiness. Selection indicates a concern with short-term gain, external results, and achieving metrics, while happiness puts the spotlight on the intangible feelings of people and their experiences that are impossible to measure. Today, I want to talk about this idea of happiness and to share with you Zappos CEO Tony Hsieh's discussion of the three types of happiness and how they might provide insight for musicians. Here are the three types of happiness. Number one, the happiness of pleasure, which Hsieh calls rockstar type. This is a temporary high where you're always seeking the next source of stimuli to recreate that sense of pleasure. And it's the most difficult to sustain and the shortest lasting one. Number two, the happiness of engagement, or what Hsieh and most people would call flow. This is losing a sense of time, feeling like you're in the zone, feeling the passion of being engaged fully in the activity. And number three, the happiness of meaning and purpose. This is feeling like you are being a part of something bigger than yourself. Now, Zappos' vision transformation seems to map perfectly onto these three types of happiness. It began with the largest selection of shoes, where it's seeking to be in the position of number one, chasing the metric. And when they are number one, they get a pleasure high, and when they're not, the happiness goes away quickly. Compare that with the final version of delivering happiness, where serving the calling and purpose bigger than any single employee provides a self-sustaining reserve of happiness that lasts a long time. While we're all primarily focused on chasing the first type of happiness, the research Hsieh explored shows that we should emphasize chasing the third, more sustainable, long-lasting type of happiness. This is true in music. We are often stuck in seeking the first type of happiness all the time. We think that achieving metrics or recognition will make us happy, but it ends up being short-lived, or we feel empty inside because it doesn't have much meaning beyond yourself. An organization can rank as number one in fill in the blank. But then what? Will the people be happy about it beyond this year, this moment? You win the job, but then what? Will you be happy in it, or will you be looking immediately for the next job? If we as individuals or as organizations seek this type of happiness, we sacrifice taking care of bettering ourselves as people for chasing the metrics. The second type of happiness, flow, lasts longer. We may play a great concert and we feel fantastic. But then what? The feeling wears off after a few hours or days, and we yearn for the next time we get to feel that way again. You'd be lucky if you feel that way on a daily basis as a musician. And even if you perform every single day, you may not achieve a flow state performance every time. So what does the third type of happiness mean for musicians? What is a purpose that is both larger than ourselves and that is specific enough to be actionable and serve as a compass? I think this is a very hard question, simply because as artists, we are fortunate to have an intrinsic love for our work. We often don't think, or perhaps feel like we need to think, about why we love it or why we do it. Without the purpose driving our actions and decisions, however, we fall into the trap of chasing external metrics as our purpose, and therefore end up feeling unfulfilled and unhappy in doing so. We are also victims of an educational system and workplace run traditionally by extrinsic motivation. For work that is intrinsically motivating, like playing music, there's actually a negative effect to the enjoyment of that work when there's an added focus on extrinsic rewards that turn play into work. Daniel Pink calls these if-then rewards in his book Drive. He explains that social science tells us that if-then rewards work well for simple, algorithmic, short-term tasks, but are not as effective for more complex creative tasks, such as music performance. He further says that this is due to the fact that if-then rewards require people to forfeit some of their autonomy. And we all know and can see how the lack of autonomy, even in this accidental kind, can prevent fulfillment in our creative work. And we see this every day in our large ensemble workplaces. There's so much more to explore within the work of Daniel Pink that future posts will definitely be dedicated to his work. So to wrap things up, happiness in our intrinsically driven field could be threatened by our focus on both striving towards a short-lived happiness of pleasure via achieving metrics, and if-then rewards that unknowingly decrease intrinsic motivation and stifle creativity. Simply our willingness to see these as factors in play can help us begin changing things around for a more fulfilling and happy workplace for musicians. Like Zappos, we can evolve our visions as individuals and as organizations to aim for happiness through purpose and meaning that will last a lifetime. If these ideas resonate with you, please consider signing up in the link below to receive an email for each new blog post sent directly to your inbox. Thank you and have a great day.